Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Parx Racing here on Saturday. It is the 20th of September 2025. It's Pennsylvania Derby Day from Parx, and I'm going to look at Pennsylvania Derby and all the other stakes races on the program. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. This upcoming week is probably one of the best weeks of racing worldwide. Here stateside, you have some great Final Brewers Cup prep races. And also in Europe, you have the good racing from Newmarket next week. You have some great racing in France next week. And so just in general, join me here on YouTube for some great previews ahead. But today's card from Parx is pretty good. It looks like we're going to have a very nice weather day. So, sometimes this Pennsylvania Derby day at Parx could either be a very wet weather day, like was it last year or the year before, where it was like just horrible, horrible weather. But I think it was 2 years ago. But it's going to be a nice day, and they have a good card there at Park. So we're going to look at stakes races 9, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So races 9, 11, 12, 13, and the featured 14th. They have 15 races. 15th race might be run under the moonlight, so that's going to be interesting. The 9th race from Parx, it is the Greenwood Cup. It's a grade 3 event going for a $200,000 purse race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field 7 horses going 2,400 meters or a mile and a half here in the Greenwood Cup. Going to go with the number 1 horse here, Digital Ops is the top selection. Going to go 1-4-2-5 in the superfecta. 1-4-2-5 super. Top selection 1 horse, Digital Ops is 4-year-old called by Nyquist. Saf Joseph Jr. trains. Ira Attitudes Jr. gets the mount. They ran the horse most recently in the Birdstone at Saratoga. Mile 3/4 staying on the 6th of August. And he finished second by a length that day. And he was with them early on, saying very pedestrian tractions, even for a mile 3/4 race. He just couldn't keep up late. Parchment Party, who absolutely loves staying. I believe the next start is going to be in the Melbourne Cup. Really freaked that day. His horse was just second best. I think cutting back a decrease in trip of 2 furlongs to a mile and a half here today will be the right spot for this horse, and I think he can get the trip to win. He ran the mud opening weekend at Saratoga for the traditional opening day feature at Saratoga, mile and eighth and option 75, and he finished second by 1/4 lengths. Malarchuk just had the jump on him. He was on the front end from a very, very wide post. Right? He had to be used a lot to get a good position, and that cost him. He just kind of yielded late. What can you do? He just, he did the right thing leaving from the outside poster, so he wasn't 10 wide, but, that took a little bit out of him late. It wasn't his day to win. And then Saratoga off the bench, mile and eighth in early June, finished fourth by 10 1/4 lengths. First start since January. He desperately needed the race. I think he's the kind of horse, as distances get longer, he's going to get better. 5-2. I know it's a shit price, but he could definitely win. The four is No Bien Namal. His races in Brazil and South America haven't been half bad. His North America debut, he really went quite nicely after a horrible beginning, closing up just in the nick of time, getting Rosario up. I think he could stay for days. I'll use him on the multi-race wager. But to recap my selection for the 9th from Parx, it's the grade 3 Greenwood Cup. Going to take the 1 horse Digital Ops. Give kudos to the 4s No Bien Nimal. Where are we? 1-4-2-5 super, 1-4 in the multi-race. Let's head over to the 11th race now from Parx, which is the Parx Dirt Mile. It's going for a $300,000 purse race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 9 horses going 1,600 meters or a lap around the main track, which is a mile in circumference. I'm going to go with the number 5 horse here, Catholic, as a top selection. 5-8-1-4 for me in the superfecta. 5-8-1-4 super, top selection 5 horse Cadillac, 4-year-old called by Catalina Cruiser. Antonio Sano trains. Tyler Gaffleone gets to mount. They ran the horse most recently on the 30th of August at Goldstream, mile 16th in a handicap, 70,000. And he finished second by a length that day. First on the Sano barn, he just stalked all the way around the race course, had a bit of a wide trip. The winner in Lightning Tones had the jump on him, but he ran okay. I've seen worse race for him. I think, seeing a stronger pace up front, a bit of a wide trip here, closing up trip isn't that bad locally. I think he can find the trip to win. He had a very bumpy trip at Goldstream, mile and eighth and handicap on the dirt at the end of July, where he finished second by a neck. He was grinding it out to the wire with Hayes. Hayes bumped him a few times, which cost him the victor. They disqualified Hayes. They played this horse on top. I thought that was the right call with very small margin of victory. But this horse, I thought he ran a terrific race there. He grinded it out to the wire. And then his 5th of June at Goldstream, the 1-turn mile and option 125 on the dirt, won by 2 3/4 lengths, 75 cents to the dollar. He was a little bit wide, but he flew home clear late. That was a very good run. He's back to stakes playing horses for the first time since his 3-year-old campaign. Most recent stakes race was in the Carryback Stakes at Goldstream, 7 from July 5th of 24, where he finished second by a head gun, Real Mucho. He was wide. He was closing up well like an express train. He just missed, but he ran his heart out. Actually ran the Derby in 2024, where he actually finished 19th by 40 lengths, beat 1 horse home. he just didn't show a lot. The reason he got into the Derby was because he placed behind Fierceness in that Florida Derby romp in 2024. Other than that, he wasn't making the Derby. He's training quite nicely at Goldstream and at Saratoga on the Oklahoma in his most recent workout. Come here 5-1. I think he'll win. Coastal Mission's a cool horse. He always runs these good races for Jeff Franco and Arnaldo Bocachica, this Charlestown based horse. He hasn't been seen since the Stymie where he ran an okay third place finish behind Bank Frenzy and Worcester. Both of those were next star winners. His horse just was third best. After a very tough campaign, they gave him some time, which I think is the right thing. Coming here, he won this race quite impressively from the backpack last year. Came back from a very good fourth after that, the Cigar Mile back on in early December, and won the 49er at Aqueduct quite nicely at the end of October last year. I think his hidden form here, coming back to refresh, might need the race off the bench, but I'll give him a shot here at 3-1. He's very cool. Horse is definitely using your supers and your tries here. But to recount my selection for the 11th in Parx now, it's the Parx Dirt Mile. Going to take the 5-horse Catholic, give kudos to the 8-horse Coastal Mission, 5-8-1-4 Super, 5-8 in the multi-race. The 12th event now from Parx. It is the Gallant Bob Stakes. It's a grade 2 event going for a $400,000 purse race for 3-year-olds here. We have a field of 10 horses going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs in the Gallant Bob. I'm going to go with the number 6 horse here, Donut God, excuse me. I'm going to go 6-1-5-10 in the superfecta. 6-1-5-10 super, top second 6 horse, Donut Gold. Why do I keep saying gold? Donut God. And this 3-year-old colt by Into the Mischief. Brian Lynch trains. Javier Castellano gets on this one. They ran the horse most recently in the Jersey Shore Stakes at Monmouth. 6 furlongs, the 18th of July, and he finished second by 2 3/4 lengths that day. He only had 3 other rivals. Niakwas just really had the jump on this horse. This horse is wide, and he just wasn't really getting into it. I do think this horse will get better with a probably 1-turn mile in his future, but I think seeing a quicker pace 6 furlongs, more horses here today, I think he could change the tables on Niakwas. He ran quite impressively at Tampa back over the 6 furlongs in the inaugural stakes last December. Went about 3/4 of length on the front and all throughout. He really ran a terrific race on the front end, and then going 5 furlongs in the main special weight Churchill back in November. Very rare 5 furlong main special weight on dirt at Churchill later in the season, but he won by 2 1/4 lengths, and again he came home clear. That was a very, very good race. I think refreshing here against these quality horses. It wouldn't surprise me if he finds some winner circle. Training well Churchill, I'm going to use him on the ticket. I think the 1 horse here, Retribution for Kendrick and Cherie DeVille can win also. He won the Parx local stakes race, the prep race for this race, going 6.5 back in the mud about a month ago. Won by a half length from a tracking trip after a horrible beginning. He really came home clear. I thought that was a very good race. He ran the Maxfield prior to that at Churchill, the 7/8 a mile, where he finished 4th by 9 1/4 lengths, and he just wasn't really comfortable that day. But, he won on debut at Fairgrounds quite impressively. Came back to run an okay third at Keeneland, first-time winners, and then romped at 9-1 from a very wide trip in the Chick Lang. I think refreshing here, off some decent races. I think he can win, but let's see. Going through his form. He wins one race, runs a clunker. Wins one race, runs clunker. He won last time out. He might run a clunker today, but I think he's been training well to come into this one. I'm going to use him at 5-1 here on the ticket, as I can't hear anything out of that ear. But to recount my selection for the 12th now from Parx, it is the Gallant Bob Stakes. Going to take the number 6 horse Donut Gold. Give kudos to the 1 horse Retribution. 6-1-5-10 Super, 6-1 in the multi-race. Let's get to the co-feature 13th race now from Parx, which is the Cotillion Stakes. It's a grade 1 event going for $1 million purse, race for 3-year-old fillies. Field of 8 horses going 1,700 meters or a mile 16th here in the Cotillion. And if I'm not mistaken, it might be about 20 years ago, maybe 21, 19 years ago, something like that. I'm pretty sure Angel Cordero came out of retirement to ride a horse in this race about 20 or so years ago. I have to go check the chart for this one going back through the years, but I'm pretty sure it might have been like a shadow or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But that's what every time I think of this race, I think of Angel Cordero riding a random horse in like 2004 or 5 or 6. So I can't really, like I said, I have to go really check the in the chart for that race, which I'm actually going to do right now. Actually found the chart. It was actually 2005, October the 1st, 2005. And Angel Cordero rode Indian Vale at 40 cents of the dollar, set the pace, and then, according to the comment line, bobbled inside and tired. And 40 cents a dollar. Ooh, not a good thing. Actually, the winner of the race was a horse by the name of Nothing But Fun for Richie Migalure at 4-1 for Michael Hushin. So not a bad race. I'm gonna have to go find the replay. So that's your quote. That's your fact of the day. It's the little things you remember from years ago. That Angel Cordero came out of retirement to ride this race. I have to go find and after this, I'm gonna go find the articles about that one. But my top selection here in this year's running, nobody's coming out of retirement to run this to ride in this one. But I love the three horse Clico. Also love the Champagne Clico. I'm gonna go 3-2-8-7 in the superfecta. 3-2-8-7 super. Top selection three horse Clico. This is the 3 Philly by Quality Road. Brendan Walsh trains. Irad Tees Jr. gets the mount. They ran the horse about 2.5 months ago now in the Indiana Oaks at Indiana. Well, 16th, 5th of July, and he won by 4 lengths. And he sat back early. He moved his way into the race, and when they said go with him, he came home. I thought that was a very good race. He's got some time between races, refreshing here against some good quality fillies. Or I think she could find a trip to win here today. I think it's going to be her kind of race. It's going to suit up for a horse coming from mid pack. She ran two back on the 31st of May at Churchill, mile 16th and option 125 claimer. First time winners was a success for her. Winning by 1 3/4 length. She was very wide. She was drifting, but that's because she was inexperienced and out by a lot that day. A very, very good race for her. The 17th of April. Keeneland about 7 furlongs in the main special weight, winning by half a dozen. Again, driving all the way. A very, very good race. She's improved with every single race, getting Irad off on him today. On her today, training well at 8-1. I'll use her on the ticket. I think the two is Lacara for Mark Cassie and Dylan Davis could, get back to her winning ways. The Alabama last time out, she finished fourth by 14 lengths. She set the pace, but Nitrogen just caught her late. The stablemate, that was a good run. Good year ran okay too, but this horse just crumbled. Prior to in the Acorn, this horse freaked. Was leading on the outside poster or the inside poster. She won in hand at 3-1 on 7.5-1 on the slop. That was a very good race. And then in the Oaks, she had a very, very subpar race. She left out of the gate, but then she just got beat by better horses. Good cheer. Nobody's catching good cheer that day. I think refreshing here at 7-2. She's another very likely winner. We'll use her on the pick four ticket. And even going to a different horse, the 8 horse Dry Powder. I know she's stuck up in some serious class, but she won the Catherine Sophia on this track a month ago quite impressively. And her races in between the Catherine Sophia and her main race at Gulfstream bad at all. She's definitely been on improve. She's a horse I would keep on your mind on as the season goes on into next season. I think she has some serious ability here, but it's going to be a very good cotillion. I think there's actually a better race than the Pennsylvania Derby this year. But to recount my selection for the 13th from Parx, it's the grade 1 cotillion. Going to take 3 horse Go. Give kudos to the 2 horse Lacara and the 8 horse Dry Powder. 3-2-8-7 super. 3-2-8 in the pick 4. The 14th race now from Parx. It is the grade 1 $1 million Pennsylvania Derby. It's a grade 1 event going for that $1 million purse race for 3-year-olds here. Field of 10 horses going 1,800 meters or mile 8th in the Pennsylvania Derby. It seems like this race kind of flip flopped with the race that we had years ago. Kind of, many years ago, this time of year, the weekend before Jockey Club weekend, like I used to call it, Santino. The big opening weekend, Oak Tree opening weekend. Used to always have the Super Derby at Louisiana Downs, and you always you saw some good grade 1 quality horses running that race, like Tisnow won it. And then as the seasons went on, that race kind of, lost its luster, and the Pennsylvania Derby became, the big race. And I think about 10 years ago, they finally made this race grade 1, moved it from Labor Day to this time of year, and it's basically the big last derby of the year on dirt. So last chance to run against these restricted 3-year-olds here. But it's a good race here. We've had better runnings, but I think it's going to be an exciting running. I'm going to go with this 9 horse Gosher as a top selection. We're going to go 9-7-8-6 in the superfecta. 9-7-8-6 super top selection 9 horse Gosher. This 3-year-old called by Nyquist. Brendan Wallace trains. Luis Saez gets the mount. He ran the horse most recently in the Haskell at Monmouth, mile 8th on the 19th July, and he finished second by half a length that day. He stalked all around the race course. He had the lead, and then he lost at the journalism, who just grinded it out to the wire and really took off clear. This horse was second best behind a great, great colt that day. Nothing bad about that run. I think refreshing here, not facing journalism. If he could keep the four lane momentum going, I think he can win. He looked like he was a winner in the Preakness at Pimlico, mile 3, 16, 17th of May. But then journalism, who just recovered late, got the job done. This horse was second best. He went down with the fight that day. He fought a good race, not a bad race, only in his fourth outing that day. And then Lexington at Keeneland, mile 16th back in mid-April, went by 2 lengths from a tracking trip. He really came home clear, and then he won the 1 turn mile Gulfstream quite impressively in his main victor. He's done everything right. He's on the improve. He's been keeping up, it seems, with the big boys. 4-1, I'll give him a shot to get a Derby victor. The 7 horse Big Truz for Javier Castellano. Brian Lynch could be an upsetter here. I like his racing in the Ellis Park Derby over the 1.5 turn mile, where he won by 7 lengths that day from a tracking trip. He really came home clear. Lesser quality horses, but still a good race. They ran him in the Indiana Derby prior to that, the mile 16th, where he just stuck, never really getting into it. And the Woody Stevens, I thought he ran a great race, gaining a lot of ground behind Patch Adams. His horse actually got beat by Patch Adams 2 starts in a row. He actually placed behind him in that Derby weekend maiden allowance race, excuse me. But another lightly bred horse. He's back around 2 turns at 10-1 today. I would give him a shot on the ticket. Don't throw out the 8 horse Baeza. I thought his race in the Jim Dandy wasn't bad at all. Come back to the East Coast. He's he's been doing everything right in his short career. He's been the bridesmaid, not the bride a lot. I think it's good for him. He might be able to become the bride today. 2-1. I'll use him on the pick 4 ticket. But here again, my selection for the 14th now from Parx. It's the grade $1 million Pennsylvania Derby. We're going to go take as the top selection in the 9 horse Gosher. Give kudos to the 7 horse Big Truz and the 8 horse Baeza. 9786 Super, 978 in the multi race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5. Good luck, everybody.